Hello, welcome to another Mayor's Talk Show. Today we have a very unique show. I have Max Wade, who's the founder and CEO for Galloping Grace Youth Ranch. Max, welcome. It's a pleasure to have you here today. Okay?
Thank you, Mayor. Thanks for having me.
Well, first of all, because New Mexico, Rio Rancho in particular, has grown quite a bit, and our population is also young. Why don't you tell us a little bit about your youth ranch, and what do you do there? Why did you do it?
Well, it's a crazy story, but basically it was something that was on my heart and on my wife's heart to do something for kids. And we love ranching, farming, kind of grown up with that through most of my life. And we had some land here in Rio Rancho, and we thought, well, that's a great place to do it. And so we started in 2007. We got incorporated. We're a 501c3. And our mission was simple, just to bring pure joy to children. And we had horses, we had animals, goats and chickens and things. We thought, well, I don't know of any other way to really touch kids in a way that gets them excited about life and doing things outdoors and getting them involved. And so we started the program up. It's a free program where kids would come out and ride horses for free and be around other animals, and we could introduce them to agriculture in a little way, get them away from the technology and the TVs and the video games, get them dirty, and it's been fantastic. So we incorporated in 2007. Since then, we've probably served over 10,000 kids at the ranch, and we're entering into phase 2 of the ranch, which is what we're calling a sustainable urban agricultural education center. And that's all about introducing kids to the origins of their food, how food is produced, and being part of producing that food. So the kids are hands-on. It's project-based learning where they're going to be planting the seeds. They're going to be growing the produce. They're going to be helping the livestock from birth, raising them, cleaning up after them, feeding them, and then we'll go all the way to market with them. So they'll understand the full spectrum of food production in the United States and the world. And we'll do things as even fun, as creative as working and raising insects. So they'll be part of our livestock. We'll have a worm farm where we'll be composting a lot of the waste products that are on the ranch, and raising bees and butterflies. Those are pollinators, and educating kids about how important they are to our food system as well. So we're not necessarily trying to raise farmers and ranchers, but we're trying to raise kids with a foundational understanding of where their food comes from. Food systems in our country, especially and across the globe, we have somewhat of a fragile food system because every year our productive land is decreasing, and our farmers and our ranchers are getting older, and we're not having as many new ones coming in. And at the same time, our population is going way up. And so the demand for food is greater now than it's ever been, and we have less producing land area than we've ever had, and we've got fewer farmers than we've ever had. So that creates a very fragile system. And so, like I said, we're trying to develop kids with a foundational education about where this comes from, and so later on when they become productive members of society, then maybe they can make more informed choices about the decisions that are going on in our country and our society. And I think just getting kids out, getting them dirty. I mean, we had a great summer this summer where kids were just wallowing in the mud like pigs. It was fantastic. And they'd come out and play in the dirt and do all the great stuff and hang out with the animals, clean up after the animals. I don't know. It's been amazing to me over the years. Probably the most exciting thing that I've seen over the last 7 years is just the willingness of kids to scoop poop. It's unbelievable. They're out there, and the animals, the horses and the goats and everything produces a lot of that, and they're just happily going out there and scooping it everywhere from a 1-year-old up to an 18-year-old. And moms and dads get involved in it too, so it's been fun.
What made you do this? And first of all, give me a little information about yourself. I mean, what did you do, and then how did you end up moving in this direction for youth?
Well, it's always been on my heart. I grew up on a farm when I was younger, and we left it when I was pretty young, about 11 years old, and I've always just had a real desire to get back to it. And we've on and off. My dad has done some farming and ranching throughout his life as well, and so we've been involved with it. And he purchased a ranch 12, 13 years ago, and it really got me fired up about it again. And I was always kind of the one involved with the kids, getting them saddled up to ride horses, go out on cattle drives, and do those things. And it was I've just always enjoyed that. I was in construction with my dad, and but I felt like I had a calling to do something different, to be more impactful with my life. I wanted to leave a legacy that went on for generations beyond me. And so it just was one of those things. I just took a leap of faith, and my wife was right there supporting me, and we said, well, let's go for it, and we'll see what happens. And it has been an amazing ride ever since.
You know, I work with youth. I did for a long time, and I admire for what you're doing, because I think a lot of the kids do miss what you just finished describing. So it's important. Okay, so help me through this. So you've handled 10,000 kids,
right,
from about 2007 to current. All right, how do you sustain this program? Where does your funding come from? Do I have to? I think you told me that it's for free. Kids can come there for free.
Right.
So,
well, we sat down in 2007 as a board. We gathered some people together. We developed a board so we get our nonprofit status, and we said, well, my wife and I, we knew we wanted this thing to be free, because every dollar that we charge is one kid that's not going to get to experience it. So at that time, it's like, well, how in the world are we going to do this? You know, horses eat a lot, and so it was September, and I had, I've always liked pumpkins for whatever reason. I said, well, Halloween's coming up. I guess we could try to sell pumpkins. And then no clue how to do it, where to do it, or anything like that. And found some amazing people that let us use their property. And we sold, I don't know, maybe 6 or 7 pickup truck loads that first year. And it has gone crazy ever since. We've in the last 7 years, this will be our 7th year doing our Harvest Festival. But we pushed 10 semi-loads of pumpkins through our pumpkin patch last year, compared to just 5 or 6 of those pickup loads. So we fund ourselves through a lot of hard work with our Harvest Festival, which will be open. We've got one coming up.
Okay, you have a Harvest Festival coming up when?
So it opens September 27th. That's this month.
This month.
And it runs daily all the way to and on Halloween, and we'll be open 9 to 6 every day.
And where is that going to be at this year?
That's going to be right here near City Center, up here on the upper parking lot above the Santa Ana Star Center.
So September 27th, all the way up till and maybe including Halloween.
And including Halloween, yeah.
And it's going to be located on the upper portion of the Santa Ana Star Center in Rio Rancho.
You got it. Yep.
And your time is going to be from what time to what time?
We'll be 9 to 6 every day.
So what could I buy there?
So you can buy all these fantastic things that are here, the gourds, the pumpkins, straw bales, corn stalks, any of your fall decorations, and that is also free. So we're talking about sustainability. The purchase of the products is how we sustain ourselves. We do this with the pumpkins and everything. We do that with Christmas trees, and but the program side of it, which is just like what we do at the ranch, is we want kids to come out and we want them to touch these things and play on the hay and play in dirt, and we have tractor races and pedal cart rides and mazes that we put up and those kinds of things. So we want kids to get involved in that, and if we're having to charge for that, we feel like we're leaving some kids out. So we just sell the products, and that's how we fundraise for the ranch. And of course, donations, and we work to get as many grants as we can. But that's the primary purpose of what we're doing there.
Okay, now you just alluded, because this is now for fall, for Halloween, for Thanksgiving kinds of activities.
Right.
Now you talked about Christmas trees?
Yep. So we started that. This will be our 6th year doing Christmas trees. And that's also done something great. I think what we do with our Harvest Festival and what we call our Christmas Corral is more about the experience than it is what you're getting there. Because even when we do our Christmas Corral, we have a lot of great activities, just like what we have with a lot of those activities will carry over from our Harvest Festival. But we'll put in we build our own Christmas village where the kids have their schoolhouse to go into, Santa's workshop and Santa's post office and different things like that. So the whole thing gets themed around Christmas, and then we sell the Christmas trees at that time. And believe it or not, we still sell lots of straw bales and things like that during that time. So for manger scenes and things of that nature. So it's more about the experience. We get people out there, they have fun. They're looking for a destination during their holiday seasons, whether it be fall or Christmas time. And it's a great place just to bring the family and have a good time.
I know you have to do this because obviously you have a big heart. What do the kids tell you, or do they tell you anything about their experience on your ranch, about your experience at Harvest Fest, about the Christmas tree corral? What do they tell you?
Well, it's kind of fluid all throughout all of our events, especially at the ranch. It comes from both parents and from the kids, is that, you know, Rio Rancho and Albuquerque are not gigantic metropolitan areas, but they're big enough. And they're big enough that kids don't get to experience these types of things. And so getting to touch a horse or pet a goat or feed chickens or gather eggs, all of those things, to play on straw bales, play in the dirt, it's just something that they don't get to do very often. So especially the parents are just, a lot of times they're in tears about, and because they have a past with that, and they've been disconnected from that for quite a while, and they see their kids getting to experience it now. And then the kids, they express just deep gratitude for being able to do those things, and to see those kids really embrace the animals. And I mean, they're hugging them and they're kissing them and leading them around, and especially when they're so anxious to go scoop their poop, scoop the animal's poop. That tells me something. So we get great response from everybody, and as well as the Harvest Festival and our Christmas tree Christmas corral. They just get to do things, and they don't have the stress of having to pay so much money. And so when the parents aren't stressed, the kids aren't stressed, and they have a good time.
You know, Max, I have about maybe a minute and a half. What do you want to tell the public about Galloping Grace Youth Ranch? And again, I would repeat your two major fundraisers.
Absolutely. Well, our fundraisers are everything. There is a saying in the nonprofit world, there's no money, no mission. And we're all about serving as many children as we possibly can. And this is a huge help to us, to be able for people to come out, have a great time, but buy our products, whether it be pumpkins and straw bales or Christmas trees, and to support us in that way, and donate to us in any way they can. We have some great new programs coming online for the future with our Sustainable Education Center, Sustainable Urban Agricultural Education Center. And so really getting people involved, and volunteers are a huge part of what we do. I am the only paid staff in the organization, and we run everything else on volunteers, and working with, 30, 40, 50,000 people during our holiday time, and a few thousand people, a few thousand kids during the summer when we're running the ranch. It takes a lot of people and a lot of effort, and we have great support from the community and our volunteers that come out and do it, but we always need more.
Okay, if somebody wants to be involved, if somebody wants to donate money, if somebody wants to help you, one of those volunteers you're talking about, where do they contact you? How do they get a hold of you?
The best way to get a hold of us is through our website, which is ggyr.org. And
give me that one more time.
It's ggyr.org, just the initials for Galloping Grace Youth Ranch. And through that, they can learn about our ranch and the new operations we have going on there. They can navigate through there and get to our pumpkin patch, and come see the Harvest Festival, and see more of those big giant hay bales that are dotted around the city right now.
And ladies and gentlemen, speaking about that, you're the one that donated those to the city, those hay bales that you see that look like a tractor, that look like a pumpkin, and for that I want to thank you. I've gotten more positive comments about how helpful that is in making them feel festive.
Wonderful.
So thank you.
Absolutely.
Max, it was a pleasure having you here today. It's kind of one of the most unique stage sites that I've ever had on the show, and I want to thank you for that. But even more important, all joking aside, I want to thank you for what you do for our young people.
Wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, I would encourage you, please, if you haven't been out there to Galloping Grace Youth Ranch, I would encourage you, bring your children. But if you're looking for a Christmas tree this year, if you're looking for festive decorations for your home, please consider Galloping Grace Youth Ranch. Thank you.